Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of the Wyckoff trading course. In this video, we're quickly going to set up our charts on Tradingview. So this video will give you everything you need throughout this course that we'll be using tool-wise, indicator-wise, setting-wise. So I think this is a pretty good spot to start. If you guys need to and you have not yet created an account, make sure you go over to tradingview.com and set up an account. This is what we use for our charting software. This is not where you will be executing trades, but this is where you'll be doing a majority of your analysis. Tradingview.com also has a desktop app and a mobile app that you can download. I am currently using the desktop app, but you can access this exact same interface right from the website. So how you access it is entirely up to you, but just know that I am in the desktop version. Right, so after you get your account all set up, you will be presented with a chart. It may or may not look kind of like mine. You may have a light scheme. If you prefer the dark scheme, you can come up here into the settings, and then under appearance, you can change a bunch of stuff. You could change the background. If you want grid lines, my grid lines are set to opacity 0. If they weren't, you'd see there would be lines on the charts. So you might want to turn those off. I think it's a little bit cluttered with that. You can come down in here. There should be somewhere to set it to dark mode specifically. This might be pulling it right from my operating system settings, but nonetheless, you can come in here and move this however you'd like. If you want a white background, that's fine. You want to make it blue, pink, green. Color scheme doesn't really matter. Candles, typically, we use green for up, red for down. You can make them anything that you want. If you want to kind of take the emotions out of the candles behind it and make it, red and blue, or, blue and green. Some people use black and white. That's all going to be kind of preference related settings that you can find, again, in this appearance section. What we're going to do real quick is we're going to go through and we're going to set up our toolbar for the favorites, right? So there are a bunch of tools on the side here. You can see we have a bunch of stuff we can draw with: trend lines, arrows, rays, channels, right? We have all these other tools, all these fib tools, gone tools, paintbrushes, highlighters, right? All your tools here are on the left. But what we're going to do is we're going to activate the favorites toolbar, which is using this star at the bottom. And we're going to put our favorite tools on this so you guys can quickly access this, from a consolidated list. So on the left here, we're going to go into the first section. We're, of course, going to use our trend line, which we'll use for identifying levels and drawing out patterns. You can also turn on the horizontal ray. That is one we also use. The difference between a trend line and a ray: a trend line is going to start and stop wherever you put it, and the horizontal ray will have one point and then go forever in the other direction. So it's little difference. This is, situational on when we'll use them, but we're going to favor both of those. Then we're going to come into this bottom section here, and the only thing that we really use in this section is going to be the trend-based fib extension right here, the second one. So we're going to add that as a favorite. And the way this works, it's a way to, and you're going to learn about this tool fully, but it's a way to kind of project certain levels. So the way it works is there's actually 3 anchor points. So I have to click 3 times to bring this up. I have to go 1, 2, and then usually a third point. And then you'll see it draws these levels. Again, you're going to learn what these levels are used for further in the course. But make sure you favorite this. What you're going to do is do the same thing I did. Just kind of click 3 times, and you're going to notice that yours looks vastly different than mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just double click on this. So double click on yours, and you're going to come into the visibility section. The style section, and you're going to kind of just make yours look like mine, right? So you're going to check the ones that I have checked, and you're just going to change the values. You're going to want the 0, 6.18, the 1, 1.236, 1.618, 2.618, 3.618. You want them all the same color. Again, this is up to you. Don't use white. If your background's white, use a color you can see. And you can see as I kind of turn these on and off, they will appear and disappear. All right, so make sure those preferences are set how you want them. The levels are in, and it should look something like mine. Now, if you're don't see some of the levels, it's probably just because of the way you drew it. All right, so if I drag this point up, they go off the screen. So you might want to just, kind of keep all the points close to each other, just so we can make sure there's nothing that's kind of hiding in those settings. Right? Next thing is going to be the paintbrush. I use this a lot for drawing stuff, circling stuff, quick little markups. You may use it less in your own analysis, but for annotation and note-taking, it is pretty useful. We're also going to use the rectangle. The rectangle is just very simple. You're just drawing rectangles around. Again, you can double-click on this and make the appearance however you'd like. I recommend you do change the opacity on any color you do, and that is just so when you have it over price, you can actually see price, right? You may notice that if I come in here and I switch the opacity to 100, it's now over the price. And just make sure you have it to a point that's pretty transparent that you can also see it. We will use this for marking up things like supply and demand zones, highlighting areas of interest, just a good tool to have. Also in this area, actually, we don't use anything else in this area. So you're going to want to use text. Text we use just to annotate certain things like lows and highs, right? You may add on your chart just some key text just that you have, right? We use this to identify things, remind ourselves of things, make points from when we send charts to other people. So that's a great tool as well. And then just some other really great things that you can use. Let me just make sure nothing else is in here. Some of these things are cool. You may use these, situationally, but the other two things that you're going to want to highlight are going to be the long position and short position, which you just use for setting your entry level and then adjusting where your stop loss and take profits may be. This will give you a few different areas of information. It'll show you what the risk to reward ratio is. It'll show you your risk in pips, your reward in potential pips. So very useful for just identifying what the main idea of the trade is. Again, this is the long position from where we're buying, and then there's also a short position, right, which is just the same thing in the opposite direction. What you're also going to want to do is add one indicator to your chart. We don't use many indicators, but there is one that is very important to the Wyckoff strategy. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to indicators and strategies. It's the little, F with the X. We're going to tap on this, and you're just going to very simply search for the word volume. And you're going to open up a volume. You'll see it added on the bottom of your chart. You'll also see it on the left here under the pair. As long as you see it here, you know the indicator is added. If you don't see the volume bars, it's very possible that the asset and price feed that you're looking at doesn't support volume. In that case, just research your pair, see if you can find one that does, because there are certain feeds that just this information is not available on. You will learn about volume in some of the other episodes, but again, this is something that you can double click on. You can make the colors match your candles. You can see whenever there is a green upward candle, the volume level is green to also match. So you can kind of see the volume level associated with that specific candle. Same thing with the red candles. When you get a red candle, a bearish candle, you're going to get a red volume bar. So if you did change the colors of your candles, make sure you come in here and color match the volume. If you want it different, that's also up to you. That's all preference, but for ease of simplicity and all that, you're going to want to kind of keep it the same. So that's basically how we're going to set up the chart. Of course, as you go through the course, you're going to learn how we actually use all of these tools, this indicator, and how we kind of put this all together to spot trading opportunities in the market. If there's any questions with this, as always, you guys can write in the chat, and I will help you set that up if there's any issues. So let's jump into the second episode here.